In literature writing, you build your argument like a proof. The given is always the text. Everyone reads the same words. It means the story, characters, language, and events are your only source of truth, and you must stay inside that world instead of guessing the author's intentions or adding your personal feelings. So, your job is not to guess what the writer meant or share your feelings. Your job is to show what the text is doing. For instance, if you write about Hamlet, you do not say Shakespeare wanted to confuse readers. Instead, you argue that the play presents Hamlet as a character who delays action because he overthinks moral choices. Then you prove these using moments like dialogues and specific scenes from the play. Build a strong and specific claim. To build a strong claim, you must first read the text carefully and look for patterns, repeated actions, or important turning points, and then turn that observation into one clear idea that you can prove. Start by asking simple questions like, what is changing, what is causing the change, and how does it happen step by step? Then take your answers and combine them into one sentence that is specific and focused. Avoid general ideas because they do not guide your writing. For example, your research paper is about Pride and Prejudice and character change. You first notice that Darcy behaves proudly at the beginning but slowly changes after Elizabeth speaks honestly to him. Then you think about how this change happens, and then you write your claim like this. Darcy begins to change when Elizabeth criticizes him directly, which makes him reflect on his actions and slowly improve how he treats others. This works well because it shows a clear moment, Elizabeth's criticism, a cause, his reflection, and a process, slow change, and now you can easily find different parts of the novel to support each part of your claim. You can use ChatGPT as a tool to turn your ideas into clear, strong, and specific claims for your literature paper. Start by giving ChatGPT the topic and the text you are analyzing, and ask it to generate focused idea statements or thesis statements that you could prove using the text. For example, you can ask, give me 3 strong thesis statements about Darcy's character change in Pride and Prejudice, using specific scenes or dialogues to support each one. ChatGPT can suggest statements like, Darcy's change is demonstrated in his actions at Pemberley, where his courteous and considerate behavior toward Elizabeth and her relatives illustrates a shift from social arrogance to empathetic respect. But it is also important that you choose specific scenes related to these statements from your chosen text, like Pride and Prejudice. You can get ideas for your arguments from these statements, but to support them, choose related scenes, such as Darcy's self-reflective letter to Elizabeth and related dialogues directly from Pride and Prejudice. Be sure to include scenes numbers to support your claim. Use a clear formula to build each paragraph. To build a strong paragraph and make a convincing argument, follow this simple formula every time. Topic sentence, evidence, explanation, connection to claim. Start with a topic sentence that clearly states the main point of the paragraph and connects directly to your main claim. Then, add evidence from the text, such as a scene, dialogue, or moment, but don't just name it briefly. Describe what happens in detail so the reader can see it clearly. After that, explain step by step how this evidence supports your argument, showing the cause and effect relationship and why it matters for your claim. Finally, connect it back to your main claim to show how this paragraph contributes to your overall argument. For example, if your research paper is about Frankenstein and isolation, your paragraph might start with, the creature becomes violent because he is rejected repeatedly by society. Then you describe the moment when villagers react with fear and chase him away. Next, explain clearly how this repeated rejection makes him feel lonely, unwanted, and angry, and how these emotions grow over time to shape his behavior. Finally, connect it to your claim by showing that isolation is not just something he experiences, it is a direct cause of his violent actions. To do this effectively, always ask yourself, am I explaining how the evidence supports my argument, or am I just mentioning it? If you only mention it, your paragraph will be weak. A strong argument requires detailed explanation and logical steps. You can use ChatGPT to help you strengthen your arguments and find strong evidence from the text. You can suggest evidence from Frankenstein that shows how the creature's isolation makes him angry or violent. ChatGPT points to the several scenes like scene rejection by the de Lacy family. You can then explain how these scenes supports my argument that isolation causes the creature's violent behavior in simple steps, and ChatGPT can help break it down by showing the cause and effect. The creature feels rejected, becomes angry, and acts violently. Select and use evidence carefully. Strong arguments depend on careful selection of evidence, which means you do not pick random scenes but choose moments that clearly support your idea. For example, your research paper is about Macbeth and ambition. You do not describe the whole story. Instead, you choose specific moments like when Macbeth reacts to the witch's prophecy or when he struggles with guilt after the murder, and then you explain how these moments show that ambition grows step by step and becomes dangerous over time, which helps your argument stay focused and strong instead of becoming a simple summary. Explain the evidence step by step. Explaining your evidence step by step is the key to building a strong argument because it shows exactly how your ideas connect to the text. To do this, start by choosing a specific scene or dialogue that supports your claim. Then, break it down into small parts. Describe what happens, why it matters, and how it proves your point. Do not assume the reader can see the connection automatically. Show each step of your thinking clearly. For example, if your research paper is about Othello and jealousy, first identify a moment, like when Othello begins to doubt Desdemona. Next, explain carefully how his trust starts to break, such as how Iago's manipulations make him suspicious and insecure. Then show how this growing jealousy changes his decisions and leads to later actions, like confronting Desdemona or planning revenge. By explaining each step, you turn a scene into evidence that directly proves your claim. You can ask ChatGPT to help break down evidence step by step. For instance, type, explain how this scene from Othello supports the idea that jealousy influences Othello's decisions, step by step. ChatGPT can guide you through analyzing each action, emotion, and consequence, helping you turn raw text into a logical argument instead of just a summary. This way, you can focus on building reasoning in your paragraph rather than only describing the story. Stay focused on one idea at a time. Each paragraph should develop one clear idea so your argument stays organized and easy to follow. When you mix too many ideas in one paragraph, your argument becomes confusing and weak. In each paragraph, you need to follow the same formula of topic, sentence, evidence, explanation, and connection, which creates a strong structure across your whole paper. Final formula for building strong arguments. To make your process easy to follow every time, use this full formula. Choose a focus claim, break it into clear paragraph ideas, use specific evidence, explain each step clearly, connect everything back to the main claim.